Only one story. Title: Story, The Trail We Shouldn't Have Taken. I'll get right to the point. My middle son is a senior in college. He's a good kid, most of the time. I'm a bit cross with him right now because he just asked me for money for a spring break trip to Hawaii with his friends. It kind of caught me off guard. Like I said, he's a good kid and I want him to enjoy himself, but something about the way he asked rubbed me the wrong way. His mother's been struggling with her mental health lately, and it would have meant a lot to her to have him around. But I guess he's more preoccupied with getting wasted on a beach with his frat brothers. I can't even blame him, really. I was exactly the same when I was his age. I see a lot of myself in that kid. The whole thing got me reminiscing about my own college days and reminded me of something I haven't thought about in a long time. Which is the story I'm about to tell. Funny enough, my son is the one who introduced me to this page. So maybe he'll get a kick out of this if it gets read. I went to Wharton, class of '85. Something I'm still damn proud of. It was, and still is, the most prestigious business school in the world. And I took that reputation seriously. I had my fun. But I also worked like hell. It was a different time back then. A lot of my classmates were crazy, like Wolf of Wall Street crazy. And I did my best to avoid getting swept up in that life. My junior year, though, I did something impulsive. I was dating a Puerto Rican girl named Maria Munes, who I remember fondly. Sometimes I wonder how different life would have been if I'd taken things further with various girlfriends I had. Maria being one of them. Instead of going home for spring break like I usually did, Maria convinced me to come to Puerto Rico to meet her extended family. It was my first time on the island, and I was eager to impress her. So I agreed without hesitation. That said, I was a nervous wreck. Maria often joked about how open Puerto Rican families were. So I was aware they already knew a lot about me. Turns out, my anxiety was mostly unnecessary. I got along really well with everyone. And it seemed like they genuinely liked me. Most of the trip was spent meeting her relatives. But we managed a few outings of our own. It was spring break, after all. One of those outings was a hike through Yunque. Which, fun fact, is the only tropical rainforest in the U.S. National Forest System. Neither of us had a car. So Maria's mother drove us and dropped us off at one of the most popular trailheads. We were a little devious. So we took advantage of the fact that we didn't have to drive. The plan was to hike, enjoy the scenery, and sneak in a little rum and weed. Everything was lining up perfectly. Until we hit a snag. The trail we were most excited about was closed. I don't remember why, flooding, maintenance, something like that. All I remember is Maria was really upset. I tried to calm her down and suggested we hike one of the other trails. But she wasn't budging. She told me that the one we wanted to take was the premier trail. The others didn't even compare. I couldn't understand how one trail could be that much better. But she was adamant. And I'd long since learned that arguing with her over something like this was a bad idea. So I asked her what she wanted to do. She said we should just hike the closed trail anyway. Like I said, I was kind of rebellious back then. And so was she. So when she suggested it, I was on board. We came all this way. And now a sign was going to stop us? No chance. She gave me a look. And that was all it took. We made sure no one was around, slipped past the barriers, and started up the trail. Laughing like a couple of idiots. At first, it was everything we hoped for. Maybe even better. It felt like we had the whole forest to ourselves. Imagine visiting a world-famous natural site and being the only one there. That kind of exclusivity is rare. We hiked for a while, passed some little waterfalls, admired the beauty. And yes, we were drinking. Not heavily, just enough for a buzz. It was really fun. But then, out of nowhere, Maria screamed and jumped back, almost knocking me over. I immediately went on high alert. I looked around, heart pounding. Until I saw it. Further down the path was a freshly decapitated mongoose. Let me repeat. A mongoose. A big one. Its head was completely gone. I told Maria to stay back and walked over to inspect it. Hoping maybe it was a toy or stuffed animal. It wasn't. Its head had been cleanly sliced off. The cut was too precise to be anything other than a knife wound. And it didn't even smell yet. Meaning it hadn't been there long. Maria was shaking. I was in shock. I tried to reassure her. Saying something dumb like, "Crime in a national forest is unlikely." Even though I had no idea what to make of it. I put my arm around her and moved us along. Trying to block the sight from her view. All I could think about was putting some serious distance between us and that body. We walked in silence. And even though we left it behind, the moment was gone. The adrenaline rush had erased my buzz and mood. As bad as I felt, Maria was clearly more shaken. She insisted we stick to our original plan of hiking the full trail. But it was obvious she didn't want to be there anymore. I couldn't blame her. As we walked, I kept trying to make sense of what we saw. Maybe it was a hunter. But hunting in a national forest, on a public trail? That didn't seem legal. And why leave the body like that? We hiked for another mile or so. I kept trying to cheer her up. But nothing worked. Eventually, she admitted she wasn't feeling well and wanted to turn back. I didn't argue. I was dreading walking past the spot again. Mostly because I didn't know how she'd react. We retraced our steps, and as we neared the area, I told Maria to keep her head down. She did. I braced myself as we rounded the final bend. But the mongoose was gone. Someone had moved it. My heart started pounding. I scanned the trees, half expecting to see someone watching us. What I saw next still gives me chills. The mongoose was hanging from a tree, strung up with twine, paws tied together. A sickly green liquid dripped from its body. It was slowly spinning in the breeze. I cursed out loud, and Maria opened her eyes. The moment she saw it, she screamed. A blood-curdling, primal scream. Before she could freeze up, I grabbed her wrist and told her to run. We took off down the trail, tripping over roots, branches, each other. I let her go ahead and kept looking back, expecting someone to come after us. Instead, a woman's scream rang out from the forest. Loud, terrified, and completely inhuman. Maria jolted mid-stride and nearly collapsed. I held onto her wrist and pulled her along. We couldn't stop. Eventually, she was too exhausted to run. So we slowed to a fast walk. I turned around and started walking backward, keeping my eyes on the trail. I was ready for anything. But nothing came. Finally, the trailhead came into view. I thought we were in the clear. Until I saw someone standing near the barricades. A park worker. He looked pissed, arms crossed. As soon as we passed the barricades, he started yelling at us for breaking the rules. Said we were banned for life. But when he got a good look at Maria, sobbing, shaking, he paused. I told him everything, not leaving anything out. He took it seriously and brought us to a ranger station near the parking lot, where a supervisor was waiting. I told the story again. Then again, when the police arrived. Maria didn't say a word. Eventually, her mother came to get us. We left, still shaking. I never heard what the authorities found. If they found anything.